Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at the statistics and how you score a game. So get a little bit more of the understanding of what might appear to be hieroglyphics on a scorer's chart. So first of all, we're going to have a look at the fielding side. And the shorthand way of writing all the positions, because shortstop, left field, is quite a long word and we don't want to be writing long things in a very small box. We denote every position and we give them a number. And we start with the first person who touches the ball on every play. It's a pitcher, and the pitcher is given the number 1. The catcher is given the number 2. First base and second baseman are given 3 and 4. However, first, second and third base is the order really. So third baseman is given the number 5. Shortstop is given the number 6. Now in softball, slow pitch softball, you have 4 outfielders rather than 3, as you would in fast pitch or baseball. So in baseball you have 7, 8 and 9, but in slow pitch the extra player is denoted as this one here. So actually right field is 9 and right centre field is 10. Now, it doesn't matter if this 9 and 10 are swapped around. It doesn't particularly matter, so long as you know which position is which. Okay. So, if you record an out, then the number associated with the shorthand denotes which position made that play. So, if the ball is caught, for instance, okay, so the ball goes out and is caught by left field, let's say, then the number 7 will be used. So on a catch, so if the ball is caught, okay, then we also might denote the type of ball that it is. And there's different letters that we use. So the first letter is an F, and the F stands for a fly ball. And a fly ball is generally a ball that goes nice and high, goes out into the outfield and is caught. So in this situation, if the left fielder catches a nice high ball, has plenty of time to get under it, catches it in their glove, it will be scored as an F7. So F7, caught out, fly ball, number 7, left field. The other type of ball that will probably get caught by the outfield, but you could catch it at the infield, is an L. And an L stands for line drive. And it is similar to a fly ball, except it doesn't go as high, it goes quite shallow. So it gets to you very, very quickly. So a line drive will be a very good hit and generally will get down unless it's hit straight towards an outfielder. So a line drive can be caught by the infield, but it'll get to you very quickly. Okay, it's a very shallow and very hard hit ball. So if the ball is hit towards third base, bang, third base has got their clean underwear on because it comes very, very quickly to third base. But if it's hit straight to third base, you might recall what's called an L5, a line drive caught by number 5, the third baseman. The other letter that we use is a P, and we've seen this one before with the infield fly roll. A P stands for a pop-up. And a pop-up is exactly what it is. Pop-up just goes straight up and then lands quite shallow in the field, usually in the infield. You would never get a P10, for instance. You can't have a pop-up caught by the right centre fielder. The only way you'd have that is if the right centre fielder ran all the way in and took the glory of catching it. So a pop-up, generally P1, P2, or one of the infielders. So pop-up, straight there, caught by the catcher, you recorded as a P2. A pop-up to position number 2, caught by the catcher, and that'd be out. So what about if it is not caught? What about if you have a force out at the play? So in this instance, let's say the batter hits the ball on the ground and it lands. So if the ball hits the batter on the ground and it goes to shortstop, and then the shortstop, swap the batter run around. The ball comes over here, fielded by shortstop, and then it's thrown across to first base, so the batter is out, okay? Then we just denote which positions took part in that play. So in this case here, the ball went to position number 6, and then position number 6, threw it across to fielder number 3. So it would be denoted as 6-3. And generally you understand that means that the shortstop fielded it and threw it across to first base, because first baseman is number 3. So that could be anything. If you had a force play at second base, for instance, okay, then you might do a 6-4. So if you had a runner on the base, they ran over here, and rather than throwing it to first base, you threw it to second base to get the out, then this would be noted as a 6-4. Or you could have a 4-6, or a 5-4, or a 5-6. So the numbers here represent the people who have took part in the play. So it's unlikely to happen in softball, especially slow pitch, but in baseball you might see 3 numbers. So let's say you have this situation here. The ball is hit out to the shortstop and you get the first runner out at second, but then you also then throw it on to the first baseman, okay, and you get the second out. So the first person to touch it would be the shortstop, so 6. Then the second baseman come across and they got the out, force play on second, and then threw the ball to number 3 at first base. So that would be a 6-4-3 double play. You got the out at the second base by the second baseman, and then you also got the out at first base by the first baseman. So these are all the different outs that you can get from the field. So how would you score from the perspective of the batter? How else could you get out? Well, you can also strike out, okay? And if you strike out, I'm going to put it over here. If you strike out, so you get 3 strikes, you use the letter K for strike out. Okay. In some instances, you might see the letter K written backwards, okay? And that means that the third strike you didn't swing. So you might hear it as strike out looking or struck out looking. So you thought it was going to be a ball, you didn't bother swinging your bat, but it turns out it was a strike. And it turns out it was your third strike. So you might see it written as a backwards K. So it means that you struck out and the third strike, you didn't swing the bat. Okay, so you might see it like that. There are lots of other ways that you can not get out, but lots of other things that might be written. Let's go through a couple now. So as a batter, when you are batting, you get credited with certain statistics. Okay, and these are the offensive statistics. So these things here are sort of outs. You can be caught out, you can be struck out, okay? You can also be tagged out as well. So you might get a tag out play. So you might see the letter T6 or T5 to represent you've been tagged out by, you might see T, or you might even just see the word tag, okay? And that just represents tag. So T6 is tagged out by the shortstop, or T5, you're tagged out by the third baseman. So all those are different ways you can get out. But what about, my favourite, the offensive stats? So I'm going to get rid of the outfield, just to give myself some space to write. Move those over there. Get rid of these here. So what about the offensive stats? Okay, what are all these things that we see on if you don't get out? So let's assume you are batting and you make it all the way to first base. Okay, if you make it all the way to first base, you are credited with what's called a single. Okay, and it is what is known as a hit. And it's probably denoted in the scorer's chart as 1B, first base. You got to first base. If you manage to hit the ball and you make it all the way round to second base, then you are credited with what's called a double. And that also classes as a hit. And I'll explain why I'm putting hit here. And in the scorer's box, you might see it written as a 2B. If you are lucky enough and fast enough to get all the way around to third base, then you will be accredited with what's called a triple. And that is also classed as a hit. And you'll see it written as 3B. And the granddaddy of them all, if you get all the way around back to home, you get what's called a home run. HR, home run. Okay. And that obviously also counts as a hit. So how else can you get on base? Well, you can hit the ball and you can run. Okay, and you can beat the fielding side to that base if it's a force play or if it's a tag out. But you can also get on base with a walk. So if you don't strike out, but you get 4 no balls, you can also get on base with a walk. I'm just going to remove the infield. Move this over here. So if you get 4 no balls, 4 balls, you will get a walk. And in slow pitch softball, you tend to get the letter W for walk, okay? However, if you're more into your baseball, you might see the letters BB, which stands for base on ball. So you reached base because of balls, you got to 4 balls, okay? 4 no balls. Because in baseball, W is reserved for win, and it's a statistic for the pitcher because pitchers generally play a much bigger part in baseball than they do in softball. Okay, softball is a hitter's game, whereas baseball, you tend to have more games affected by the quality of the pitcher. So in slow pitch softball, we tend to use the letter W for walk rather than W for win. We don't tend to keep statistics for the pitcher. So if you get a walk, it doesn't classify as a hit. So what is a hit and what isn't? So a hit is classified as getting on base because of hitting the ball. So a walk is not a hit because you didn't hit the ball. So it doesn't count in what's called a batting average. So let's have a look at a batting average. And a batting average is a simple calculation. It is the number of hits divided by your number of what are called at-bats. So the number of times that you went to swing. So what classified as a hit? So a hit is a single, a double, a triple, or a home run. Now an at-bat is all of these, so all the hits plus all of your outs. So if you hit the ball and you were caught, no matter where you were, if you struck out, okay, it doesn't classify tags because you would only ever tag if you got onto base, okay. So in this case, note that there are no walks in any of these. So a walk doesn't classify as a hit, and a walk doesn't classify as an at-bat. And this is usually classified as a decimal to 3 decimal places. So in baseball, you might see somebody's batting average is a 3.12. That would be considered quite a good batting average in baseball. Probably in slow pitch softball, quite a low batting average. But you want to see batting averages in this probably the 700s, so 0.7 something or 0.8 something. So the batting average is the number of times you got on base, okay, so either first base single, second base double, third base triple, or a home run, divided by the number of times that you have actually hit the ball, or struck out, or been caught, etc., etc. So let's have a look at something like this. So let's say in a single game, okay, I get let's say my first time I step up, I managed to get a single. Let's say the second time I step up to the plate, I line out to left field, okay, number 7. And let's say the next time I step up, I get a strikeout, then I get a walk, and then I get a really good hit. I get a third base. Okay. So in that case, what is my batting average for this particular game? Well, how many times did I actually get on base? Well, I got a single and I got a triple. So I got on base twice during that game. So I got 2 hits. So this is a hit and this is a hit. Okay. However, this walk here does not count towards my batting average. So actually, my batting average for this one is actually 2 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. So my batting average here would be 0,500. So when do walks count then? If walks don't count towards my batting average, which might be a BA, when do walks count? And walks count towards something called your on-base percentage. Okay, or OBP. So in this case, my on-base percentage would be a hit, and a walk, because I got on base through my walks. In this case, I got 3. How many times did I then attempt to get the ball, or attempt to hit the ball, or get a walk? In this case, it would be 5. So in this case, the walk does count. So it's 1, 2, 3, my 2 hits and my walk, over, rather than my at-bats, this thing here, this number here, is slightly different, and this is what are called plate appearances. So this is my at-bats plus my walks. So my on-base percentage here would be 0,600, my OBP. You will always find that the on-base percentage is higher than your batting average, okay, because the batting average doesn't take into account your walks. So how can you get on base and not get a hit? Because there are some instances in the game where I can actually get on base and it not count towards my batting average. Let's have a look at those now. Let's put some fielders back in the thing. So let's just put shortstop here. Okay. So let's assume that I have hit the ball and I hit it over here towards shortstop and I am running. If the shortstop catches the ball, throws it across to first base, but misses wildly and throws it over here, okay, then if in the opinion of the person scoring, I would have been out if that throw would have been accurate. So if the shortstop would have thrown an accurate throw, but didn't, and I get on because of that bad throw, it doesn't count as a hit. And that will be classified as an error. So if any of the infielders make a mistake, and I would have been out had it not been for that error, then in this particular instance, it would be classified as an E6. So E for error, and number six made the error. That doesn't count as a hit. So it wouldn't count towards my line score. So if I got a first base, a walk, and an E6, okay, these two here would be counted as towards my batting average. So I get 1 hit out of the 2 because the walk doesn't count. So in this case, my batting average would be a 0,500. My on-base percentage would be 2 out of 3, so a 0.667 on-base percentage. So the E6 doesn't count as a hit. The most common one that you might find on especially one of my stats sheets, is something called a fielder's choice. Denoted by the letters FC. And again, it doesn't classify as a hit. So what is a fielder's choice? Well, assume that we have a runner on first and a batter runner. The ball is hit and it's a nice fielding play. Across comes second base and gets the out at 2. So the runner is out. However, because the field is a bit smaller, I've managed to get all the way to first base. So because I've managed to get all the way to first base and the fielding side haven't bothered to turn it around and try and get a double play, or even if they have, but it's been too slow and I've managed to get to first base, basically what we're saying is I only got to first base because the fielding side chose to get this runner out and not me. If the fielding side would have thrown to first, then I would have been out. So because the fielder chose to go to 2 and get the lead runner out, I managed to get on base. And in that instance, okay, it would be classified as a fielder's choice and I wouldn't be credited with a hit. So in this instance, let's assume I got a triple. I got a walk. I got, let's say, a home run. Yeah. And then I got a fielder's choice. And let's say I got an E6. No, let's say an E5. Let's spread the love around, shall we? Third base. So in this instance, how many hits have I actually been accredited with? So third base is a hit. Home run is credited as a hit. A walk doesn't count towards my batting average, but a fielder's choice and an E5 does. That doesn't count, sorry, not a hit. So these two are not a hits, okay? So in this case, I would have 2 out of 4, okay? So a 0.500 batting average. And I'm not sure, actually, at this juncture here, it's just hit me. I'm not sure whether these two would count towards your on-base percentage. I'll have to find out and get back to you, okay? Because you would be on base, but I'm not sure whether they would count towards your on-base percentage. So I'll put a question mark there and I'll get back to you in the comments below. So that's a fielder's choice. So what about the nice statistics, the headline statistics, okay? Home runs, runs and scoring points. The whole point of the game is to get all the way around and get back home. So what are the subtle differences of scoring the actual game? Well, if you get all the way round, okay, so if you score, if you run across home plate, okay, as the base runner, okay, so if you are the runner who actually touches the plate yourself, you are credited with a run, just the letter R. However, if you are the batter, so if you hit and runners score, due to your hit, you will score a run batted in, or an RBI, a ribby, okay? You'll be accredited with an RBI, a run batted in. So if you're the person stood here, you hit the ball into the outfield and this runner goes, yay, all the way home. This runner will be credited with a run, but you will be accredited with an RBI. And you can have as many RBIs, well, not as many, you can only go up to 4. So let's say you had this instance, okay? Let's say you hit the ball, bing, 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 it goes in the outfield, these two runners score, and you get to second base. So if you get to second base, you'll be accredited with a double, and you will also be accredited with 2 RBIs because these 2 runners came in. So each runner will be accredited with 1 run each. This batter will be accredited with a double for getting to a double, and 2 RBIs because they batted these 2 runners across the plate. Now, last thing, when can you score but not register a hit? So you might have watched our previous videos on tagging up. Okay, so let's have this instance here. We've got a runner at third, and let's say there are only one out. So there's only one out. I've got a runner at third, and let's put a right fielder out there. There we go, right field. So in this instance, the pitch comes in, bang. I hit all the way out to right field. This runner here is paying attention to their coach. They've paid attention to these videos. They know they're going to stay on third base because as soon as it is caught, they can then run, and score a run. So because that batter has been caught, there are now 2 outs. The batter doesn't get credited with a hit. The batter will probably be credited with an F9. That's 9, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Yep. However, it doesn't get credited with an F9 because the runner scored. Okay, you will be accredited with what's called a sacrifice fly, or a sac fly, or just the letters S, F. So in this case, because you hit the ball and the runner tagged up from third and scored, this does not count towards your batting average or your on-base percentage. Doesn't count towards anything. Or does it count towards your on-base percentage? Again, I'm gonna put a question mark there. Just how to think it might do. But again, I will get back to you in the comments, okay? There'll be some statistician out there who knows the answer, but I don't want to give you the wrong results. So if you're accredited with a sac fly, you will automatically be accredited with an RBI as well, because it was your hit. Even though it was out, it was your hit that allowed the tag up to occur. So you might see a sac fly. So let's have a look. Let's have a situation. Let's have a look at this situation here. So in this situation here, let's assume that you've hit the ball, you've got to first, and this runner has come home. Okay. In this situation here, you would be accredited with a first base and an RBI. So in your line stat, you will get a 1B and an RBI. What about if you had this situation here? So if you had this situation here and you absolutely blasted the ball and it's going to go across the screen into the bushes. Well, not really into the bushes. It goes off the field, everybody's chasing it, and not only does the first runner come home, but the second runner comes home, the third runner comes home, and you make it all the way round. So as a batter, you came all the way round and got a home run. And not only did you score 1 runner, 2 runners, 3 runners, you also scored yourself. So you came across the plate, so you would be accredited with a run for getting across the plate. You got home 1, 2, 3, 4 runners, so you would also be accredited with 4 RBIs. And if you did that, okay, in baseball and softball parlance, that is what's known as a grand slam. So a grand slam home run. You basically, everybody on the bases. So here you will hear the term bases are full, okay, or bases are loaded, okay. Everybody's on a base, and if you score a home run and everybody scores, it is what's called as a grand slam. So if you have, I'll try and find out those on-base percentage numbers, but if you're interested, any more questions, leave it in the comments. I'll get back to you.